Do you have a business that serves your local community? Are you trying to take your business to the next level? Do you struggle to understand your business numbers? Well, stop working harder thinking you're going to make more money. That's not how it works. Each week, we go over how to understand and leverage your business numbers to not only create more sales, but more importantly, how to create more profits. Remember, it isn't about how much you sell. It's about how much you keep at the end of the day. My name is Tammy, and I'm on a mission to help badass business owners like yourself put more money in your pocket. So whether you're a badass or a badass in the making, let's get this party started. Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. Now, I want to continue what we started on the last episode, where we are going to continue to dive into this journey we're going to be on to become better business owners. And the best way to do that is to kind of understand what got us there in the first place. You know, most people who start a small business start their small business because they had what Michael Gerber in his eMyth Revisited book talks about is they have an entrepreneur seizure, meaning in this desperate moment, all of a sudden they had this crazy idea to become a business owner. Now, maybe that came out of you just were frustrated at work, and one day you're like, that's it, I'm done. I can't stand working for this person anymore. I'm just going to go out on my own and I'm going to start my own business. I can do what it is that he does and does it 10 times better. Okay, some of you, that fits. Some of you, you saw a need in the community and you got tired of people asking and you're like, I can go do that. Some of you did it because you were just trying to, you said, hey, I need to make some extra money. I know what I can do. Some of you, people kept telling you over and over and over going, oh, you should go into business for yourself. And then one day it just takes over and you're like, oh my God, I totally need to do that. You know, and then what happens is you become obsessed with the idea of starting this business and it just germinates in your head for a while. Now, some of you jump really quickly, but most people, it kind of sits in there for a little bit and that dream just becomes bigger and bigger. And let's just say that you're the one out there busting your butt every single day, making it happen, and you're getting no credit for what it is that you do. And you're the one out there making this idiot all kinds of money because of what great work you do. And you're just like, you know what, why not take out the middle person? I mean, I can do this. I do all the work now. I might as well be the person that does it all. You say, hey, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go start a business. Well, here is the mistake that we make in the eMyth. He talks about the fact that it's called a fatal assumption. And that is this, is that you understand the technical part of the business, the doing, if you will, but yet you don't really understand the technical part of running a business. So there's a big difference between the doing of the business and running the business. But what happens is we get so far ahead of ourselves and we've created this whole dream and goal to run this business that we jump in with both feet because we're good at what it is that we do and we just start doing what we're good at and we start building a business. And in the beginning, it definitely takes off because we are good at what we do. Word of mouth gets around. You know, we've told some people that we're feeling a need. They need what it is that we got. And next thing you know, we've got business. Now, some of you have a slow-moving business. Some of you have a fast-moving business. Some of you have a steady Eddie kind of business. But at the end of the day, you have this business of doing. But aha moment when you wake up and you realize, I don't know what the first thing I'm doing. I don't have a clue to what it is that I'm doing. I'm stumbling through this. I'm figuring it out as I go. Does this sound familiar? Because I'm telling you, I talk to a lot of different people and that's exactly what they feel a lot of times. And unless you had some kind of leadership or business experience prior to doing your business, in most cases, that's exactly what happens is at some point, once you've already dove in feet first and you're already soaking wet, you're already knee deep in all of it, you really discover that, hey, you know what? I really don't have the first clue how to run a business. And that's how we end up where we are today was you're trying to figure out different ways on how to run a business because they're two totally different things. They absolutely have, that's why you see sometimes people will have a business and they don't have the first clue how to do it. But what they are is they're smart enough to find people who are really good at what it is that they do. So even though you may have been mad at your boss because they didn't know what the heck they were doing, you're right. They probably didn't know how to do the technical side of the business, but they probably understood the business side, and that's why you saw them make a lot of money. Because sometimes we get really mad that why are they making all this money when I'm on my back because I'm doing all of the work? Well, it's because they understood the business side of it and how to turn all of that work into cash. And yes, were they doing it on your back and somebody else's? Yeah. Because that's kind of how they were building the business. Now, could they have been a better leader? Could they better have involved you in the business? Could they have reached out to you and made you feel part of all of it? Absolutely. I'm not saying that they were a great leader and they should have included you more in it. But as far as how the technical aspect of the business, if they were making tons of money, even and they weren't touching anything and that you were doing it all, it's just they understood the business side of it, not necessarily the leadership side of it, which is what you saw. And, and you're not destined, in order for you to have a successful business, you don't have to become that person. You can put the full package together where you understand the technical side of running the business, but you also understand the component of the leadership side of it, which is what that person was missing, which is what inspired you to go do it on your own. But the main thing is the minute that you go into business, you make a commitment to be a business owner, not to be a technician. Okay. The minute you go into business, you make the decision to run a carpet cleaning business, not to become a carpet cleaner. Does that make sense? And that's the part where we all get into trouble because we have to figure out how to become better business people. Okay. And that's really what our goal is. So that way you avoid that burnout, that you don't have to work 50 million hours and that you can leverage your resources so that way you can make more bottom line money. That's one of the things. And like I said, this isn't about you hiring a bunch of people. That's not what this is about. This is about for every dollar you take in, maximizing that bottom line so that you don't have to continue to sell more and more and more to make more money. Because that's when you have matter of fact, let me just jump into this part and it'll help put some of it into perspective. One of the things when you're going through the eMyth, and you've heard this, I'm sure, from other people, and if you've listened to other podcasts, you hear me talk about this. You have 3 hats that you wear in your business, okay? At the end of the day, you have the one that everybody loves, which is the technician, okay? This is the doer in the business. This is where you spend the vast majority of your time, especially if you are a solopreneur. It's the person who does what it is that you do. And then you have the manager, okay? The manager hat that you wear, that's the person that organizes, controls, put processes in place, does the pieces of the business that help get the bills paid, okay? That will do some of the marketing, do some of the technical aspects, if you will, of the business. And then the third hat that you wear is the entrepreneur hat. This is the visionary in your business. This is the one that looks forward 3 years, 5 years, 10 years and what the business wants. But what happens is when we first start off, we're kind of doing a little bit of all of it. But as the business starts growing, that technician hat tends to take over because we got to stay on top of all this business. And what happens is the manager hat, we don't put the processes in place we need to have to be able to grow. We don't spend the time working on the business like we should because we're so knee deep in the business part of it, getting stuff done. And that visionary, that person who's looking as to where the company's going, goes from being a huge role in the very beginning of your business to becoming a little speck of dust as you get deep into it. Think about it. When you first were thinking about starting your business, you had all kinds of ideas of what your business was going to look like. You had plotted it out. You had this vision. You could see it clearly. And then today, if I ask you that same question when you've already been in the business for a couple of years, guess what? When I ask you, where do you see your business in 5 years? Most people don't have a clue because they've gone into survivor mode. I'm more worried about keeping my doors open tomorrow, not the vision of where it's going to be in 5 years. Sound familiar? And that's a shame because honestly, at all times, you should always be knowing where you're going. In previous episodes, I've talked about the fact that you really have to live 2 worlds. The one world is where the business is going in 5 years and where the business is today, because every decision you make today is not about survival. It's about the decisions you make today, is this going to help me get one step closer to that vision in 5 years? And that's where that manager heart comes in, because when you say, this is my vision of where I'm going, okay, yeah, you got to do the stuff today, but the manager has to help put in place the processes and the systems and the things that you need in order to get to that vision. Make sense? So that's kind of where we are trying to go. But what happens is these parts of us are all battling within us, and eventually, like I said, the technician wins, because it's just I got to get it done, because the sales keep coming in, the requests keep coming in, and pretty soon the technician is getting more and more and more of the burden to keep that business alive. But like I said, one day you wake up and guess what? You have yourself a job and not a business. Okay? You just, it's done. As a matter of fact, if the little voice inside of you starts to creep in from one of the other voices and says, hey, guess what? We probably should put some processes in place to make this easy. The technician in you goes, yeah, I know. I just don't have time. So we start shutting down the other pieces of us. The technician takes over, and the technician is the worst person to run the business, because the technician only does the doing. Okay, but what happens is you're only listening to the technician inside of you, because the manager's trying to tell you you need processes in place. The visionary, the entrepreneur in you is trying to tell you that, hey, this is where we're going. But the technician is telling them to shut up. Look, I got work to do. I got to put my head down. I got work to do. I can't listen to you. And what happens is, through time, that technician in you and that entrepreneur, the technician in you takes over, and the entrepreneur in you and the manager in you starts to take a back seat. And that's where your business starts to go wrong. That's where the wheels start to fall off, because now you are 100% just doing a job that you pay yourself. Okay. There's times when I'll talk to people and I'll be like, okay, what was your sales and your profits? And people are getting a lot better at that. And I really love that you guys are learning that really good. But you get to, okay, well, my profit, and I did this great profit. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. That's awesome. And it really is. Don't get me wrong. But then when I say, okay, now is that before or after you pay yourself as the technician? See, that's where it changes. That's where it changes for you. Because if your profit is where you pay yourself 100%, and you don't pay yourself as a technician, and kind of have two different things, you never really see the flaw in your business. Because if you see the fact that your company, your business made $50,000 in profits, that's a great number. That's an awesome number. That's an amazing number. But if after you pay yourself as a technician a fair wage and there's no money left, well, you have a job. Okay, because what you have to do is you have to be able to say that my business, I was paid $15 an hour for the hours that I worked as a technician. I made $30,000 over there, and my business had a $50,000 profit. Because now you've got both, right? You've got the job part paying you $30,000 and the business owner part paying you $50,000. Can you feel the difference? It's huge. But what happens is that's not how we run the business. Okay. What happens is the money that's left over at the end is what we pay ourselves as a fair wage, and your business did not really make the money. The technician made the money, not the business owner. The business owner did not make the money. And that's where we need to get you to, is where as a business owner, you're making both monies. This is the money I made as a technician. Now, ultimately, the goal is that you're not the technician in it, and you are paid 100% as the business owner. Which means that bottom line business owner, in order to do that, for you not to be the technician, your bottom line, in order to make the same amount of money, needs to be $80,000. So now you get paid $80,000 as the business owner. Guess what? You've replaced yourself in the business as a technician, but you're going to have to pay someone to do that technician part, because you're not the one doing it. And if your goal is to stay as a single person, that's fine too. But just know that you want $30,000 as a technician and you want $50,000 as a business owner, because you want to make $80,000. That's really what you're looking at, is how can you do that? How can you continue to wear your manager hat and your entrepreneur hat? Because you need them. You need them in order to make that $50,000 at the end of the day. So that way you get paid as the technician and you get paid as the business owner. Because if you're only being paid at the end of the day with what comes out of the business, you live or die as a person by the success of that business. Because you have not built it as a business. You've built it as a job. And we've got to stop doing that. Okay. I really, really, really need you to start focusing on, how can I wear all three of my hats? Okay. How can I wear the hat that says, this is what I need to do to get the jobs done. And this is the resources that I need to get the jobs done. But at the same time, you've got that other person saying, look, there's got to be a better way to do it. And if there's a better way to do it, this is where the manager kicks in and says, look, these are the processes I need to put in place. These are the tools that I need to be able to put in place to be able to grow my business without me having to work more hours in my business. And you've got to have the visionary, the entrepreneur in you, okay, that's kicking in saying, look, guys, this is talking to your other two parts of you saying, look, this is where we're going. Does this help us get to where we're going? Because if it doesn't, we're still, once again, just sitting at a job. And that's not what we want you to have. We don't want you just to have a job. We want you to have a business, but we want you to wear all three hats in your business. Now, are they all equal hats? No. There's going to be times where your technician hat is bigger, and there's going to be times when your manager hat has to really kick in to be able to grow that business. And there's going to be time when that visionary has to say, okay, are we on course to where we want to go? So you're going to have different times when you win it. But here's the thing. If you're spending every single waking minute in the actual doing of the business, you're not going to grow your business into a business that makes you the kind of money that you are hoping to try to make. You're not going to build a business that's going to allow you to have the free time to be part of your own damn family. You're not going to build a business. Here's what you are going to do. You're going to build a business that owns you. You don't own a business. Your business owns you. Now, how many of you that are listening right now feel like your business owns you? I'm going to say a lot of you. Okay? Every waking minute of what you do. Heck, I go through that. Okay? There's times when I'm like, for example, I would love to have today off after recording this and be able to have the day. But you know what? Because one of my businesses, being in real estate, one of my businesses, they sometimes own me because somebody wants to go show them stuff and go show them this house and this and that. And because I need to do it because it's my own client's house that I'm showing, I'm stuck. My business owns me right now today because I have to go do what that is. So there goes another week with no time off and everything else. I get it. I live it as well. Now that doesn't, none of you are going to be perfect at this. But what you do is you say, okay, what do I need to put in place to be able to do it? Had I had a person that I could have said, hey, I need you to go off and go do this for me and take care of it, then guess what? I wouldn't have had to do it. Now, I've got something in place right now that I'm working on that's going to do that, and I look forward to that. And I probably could have called a couple other people, but for whatever reason, I didn't. So that's shame on me. I was in the middle of, when I made the commitment, I was wearing a technician hat versus shutting up for a minute and putting on a different hat, which would have solved the problem. And here I am going, I messed up. Okay, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it right all the time. I don't get it right all the time. But what you do is you get to the point where you're getting it wrong all the time if you're not even trying. And if you get to the point where you're doing it right the majority of the time, your business is going to grow. You're going to get paid as a technician and as a business owner. That's what we want. I want you guys to, here's why you can make more money. You can make more money, and I believe it in my soul, but you've got to change the way that you're trying to do business today. Okay, part of it is knowing these numbers. That's why we talk about it every Thursday on the knowing numbers part. That's why this, even though I didn't call this a knowing your numbers, you can hear that I'm talking about numbers without saying numbers. Okay, you've got to understand how it is that you are how you create a business that isn't about you owning a job. That's not what we want you to do. All right. So once again, here's what we're doing for anybody that is kind of just popping in and this is your first episode, is I'm going through a series of episodes where I am going back through the eMyth Revisited. I'm not going word for word, doing a book report. I'm not doing any of that. I'm taking the concepts out of the book and trying to help put my spin on it for everybody. So this way it kind of helps connect all the dots for you. So if you are interested in the eMyth Revisited, it's like, folks, I think I got it off of the hardback because I usually do everything in Kindle or Audible. I got the what am I thinking of? The book, the soft cover version from Amazon for like $10. It was like $10.81. Come on, you are worth $10.81. Get on Amazon, click the link in the below and get yourself this thing. And you need, even if you just read 10, 15 minutes a day. That's how I'm doing it for you guys. Do you think I'm honestly sitting here for hours on end going through the book? Hell no. You know what I do in the morning? I get up, I come in, I start reading through the book and I give 10 to 15 minutes with a highlighter and I go through it and I highlight the parts, the concepts and the things that make me think. All right. You got to do the same thing. You should be doing this every single day. It should be part of your normal routine, because there's people out there that are really good at what it is that they do, and they can help take your business to the next level. You know what? 15 minutes. Come on. There's 2 things I know you can commit yourself to: an $11 book and 10, 15 minutes every morning or every night. And you know what's cool about only reading 10 to 15 minutes? It allows that concept to marinate. It allows you to kick it around in your head and for you to think about it. That's the commitment I want you to make to yourself. That's the commitment that I want you to make to your business. I want you to stop being the technician 24/7. Stop being that technician 24/7. Start putting on your manager hat. Start keeping your entrepreneur hat on. Okay? I need you to do that. If you talk to people that have had successful businesses, that have built those businesses, guess what? They spend the majority of their time in the manager and entrepreneur hat, not in the technician hat. You are the opposite. The majority of you are always a technician, constantly a technician. And if you constantly stay the technician, you're not going to be able to grow your sales, your profits, or your business. You're always going to be the employee of that business, because you're not thinking differently. And that's what this whole series is about, is how do I shake you up and how do I get you to start thinking differently? Because I think you're going to see the profits in your business. The reason why this book is so recommended to so many people is because successful business owners have embraced it, have ran with it, have taken the concepts. You don't have to agree with the way that he says it. I don't agree always with the way that he says it. I always, I put my spin on it, because it's true. I've watched it work, and it works in big businesses and little businesses. And this is what we're trying to do. All right. I'm ranting. I know I'm ranting, but I just care so much, and I want to help you guys get your business up there. So like I said, we're going to do this for a few episodes. We are going to really help you guys with your businesses, and shaking you up a little bit and giving some hard doses of reality. And how do we get you shaken out of being the technician in your business and being knee deep in it? And how do we get you to wear that manager hat and that entrepreneur hat more? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And it's going to take baby steps. It's going to take 10 to 15 minutes every single day. And then that 10 to 15 minutes will grow to 20, and then it'll grow to an hour. It's about making the changes necessary to change your mindset. And the first thing that has to change is your mindset. And that's what these last 2 episodes are about. Let's shake you out of your current mindset. Let's get you into a different mindset. And then saying, okay, how do I make it? What has to be true? How can I make this happen? And I guarantee you guys absolutely can. And I look forward, honestly, to the success stories and the people sending me messages going, oh my God, Tammy, the minute that this happened, blah, 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 this is what happened. My business took off. I made all this money. And I've watched it happen. I've watched people go from making, $20,000, $30,000 at the end of the day to making $100,000 like overnight in 1 year. And it's just because they changed the way they ran their business. They stopped being the technician in their business, and they started being the manager / entrepreneur in their business. And it made a huge difference. That doesn't mean they're not doing some of the technical work. Absolutely. Their hands are getting dirty. They're doing some of the stuff. But they're looking at jobs differently. They're looking at processes differently. They're looking at how to be more efficient, how to make more money and put it to the bottom line. And it's making a difference for them. That's what I want for you. All right. I'm rattling. I said that before. Haven't left yet. All right. I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owners, before you go, I know sometimes learning your business numbers on audio can be a little difficult. So don't forget to also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Training for Local Small Business Owners, where each week I try to put out different videos that help you understand these business concepts and understanding your business numbers, because sometimes visually can help you understand the concept and make it a little bit easier. Plus, I break them down into smaller chunks, so this way it's easier for you to understand. So once again, don't forget, head on over to YouTube, Training for Local Small Business Owners. Check the show notes. There's also a link there. Now get out there and kick some ass.